I work from 9 till 5:30 every single day. I have a YouTube channel, I have an Etsy shop, and I consider food the foundations to which all of that stuff is resting upon. In this video, I'm going to share my general eating principles and everything I eat over the next few days. I get all my lunches from a meal prep company. It's a local meal prep company. I've tried a few of the ones online where you sort of order it, but generally find that the bigger the company, the more likely the food is to be processed. So I get mine from a local company. They're just like home cooked meals type of thing. You can choose, you can get really fancy about what you put in each box. I generally just go with whatever's on that week, you know, I don't specify anything special. So just get some nice home cooked meals for my lunch, whole ingredients, loads of veggies in there. I would prefer to make and meal prep all my own lunches and stuff, but it's just the time involved in cooking 3 meals a day. I can achieve 95% of what I want to achieve using this meal prep service, and I can save 100% of the time on my lunches, so seems like a no-brainer to me. In here we've got Cajun chicken, lovely, green beans, spinach, and some whole wheat pasta. Now dinner is a little bit different. I don't want to totally lose control of everything that I'm eating. I still want to make and prepare my dinner every single day. So I use an app called Cherry Pick. Imagine a meal box service like HelloFresh or Gusto or one of those, but instead of paying a big premium, because those services are quite expensive, you're paying a big premium for them to box up all of your ingredients and put those recipes together and give you the correct amount of quantities and stuff like that. So imagine a service like that, but all the food and ingredients comes from a place like Tesco or Sainsbury's. So you just select all the meals that you want in any given week, and Cherry Pick figures out the ingredients and the quantities required for each of those meals and just adds them to either a Tesco food shop or a Sainsbury's food shop. Now I have my Cherry Pick app set to vegetarian, but you can have different goals or different diets depending on what it is you're into. I'm obviously not vegetarian, I just ate chicken here. Whenever I'm cooking for myself and for Lauren, I choose to cook vegetarian. For me, it's just a surefire way of making sure I eat more vegetables and get a better sort of balanced nutrition approach. I find choosing vegetarian recipes often have 3, maybe 4, even sometimes 5 portions of vegetables in them. So I have my app set to vegetarian for that reason really. Then if you want to save even more time, which is what I usually do, you can just click the 2-minute food shop button, and that uses AI basically. It figures out what you like based on your previous rating. So it's not going to work perfectly the first time, but over the course of a number of weeks of using the app and rating the recipes that you've been provided, it'll get to know your tastes, what you like, what you don't like, and you can click the 2-minute food shop. It'll just automatically add the recipes, it'll automatically add all the ingredients to the food shop. You send that from the Cherry Pick app to Tesco or to Sainsbury's, whichever one you prefer. You can add your bits of washing powder, dishwasher tabs, whatever else it is that you need to add to your food shop through Tesco or through Sainsbury's. So then you just check out normally through the Tesco app or the Sainsbury's app or whatever it is, and then how we doing, baby? Alright? Yeah, good. What do you want from? Just on the floor, I'll take them in. See you, bud. Have a nice day. Thank you. So much easier than going to the supermarket. So as I'm putting the food shop away, it seems like a good time to just run through some general principles about how I do my food shop and what kind of stuff I buy. Because I think 99% of nutrition is either make or break in the shopping stage of things. Turning on the hob. So I would say like 70 to maybe even 80% of our food shop is like whole foods, things like fruits, veggies, eggs. And then another decent percentage is sort of, I call it ingredient type foods. These obviously are processed, they're in a can, they didn't grow in a can. But the amount of processing is pretty minimal. These are like ingredient type foods. I would throw like herbs and spices and stuff like that into that mix as well. So minimally processed ingredient type foods, they're another big part of this shop. And then the last sort of thing that makes up the food shop is the ultra processed foods. Now I try and keep these as low as possible, like as minimal amount of ultra processed foods as possible. Things like this, I mean, it does say no artificial ingredients, but it's ultra processed, it falls in that category. These definitely fall in this category, but these aren't even for me, these are for Lauren. Lauren can't get away from chocolatey cereal for breakfast. Chocolatey yogurts, again, not for me, they're actually for Lauren, but I have to admit I do occasionally eat these. If all the fruit fits in the fruit bowl, probably didn't order enough fruit. This is what usually happens, some fruit has to live next to the fruit bowl for a few days. Generally the ingredients that require a lot of chopping, I get the frozen versions because they're usually already chopped, so like sliced red onions or diced white onions, stuff like that. Chopped ginger as well. Prepping ginger takes an absolute eternity. So many tomatoes. Right, that's lunch finished, food shop put away. Time to get back to work. Right. Work is finished for the day. It's gone dark outside and it's time to get on the run. Got a tempo run to do tonight. Got a little bit of a warm up, then 5k at tempo run pace, and then about 5k easy. So just a little bit over 10k today, probably end up 11 or maybe even 12k. Gonna be repping the Nike Tempo Next Percents, my old pair that I get stick for wearing because I've worn them for more than 2,000 kilometers in these shoes. I don't do this every run, but if I'm hungry before the run, quick little bit of honey, straight out the jar. And some chia seeds. Straight out the bag, straight in, no messing around. Just a mouthful. That's a poor man's energy gel for when you've run out of gels. You need a little something pre-run. That's my go-to, works every time. So at the moment I'm training for a sub 20 minute 5k. I'm currently 9 or 10 days out from the target race day, which means I'm tapering at the moment. I've reduced the intensity of the workout and I've reduced my weekly volume this week. Goal is to keep the legs fresh, hopefully maintain the fitness whilst recovering from all those sort of little aches and niggles that you build up throughout the training block.
I swear I heard
Solid effort. Hard work. That was hard work, that was quite a big session considering I've barely moved my legs all day today. And then it's just like walk out that door and just straight into fifth gear really. Just because you're tapering doesn't mean you don't want to do anything. You still need to be putting the work in, still need to be keeping those legs turning over, especially for this first week of the 2-week taper. You know, next week we can have a few more luxuries, take a bit more rest and not work quite as hard. But this first week of the taper, just about dropping the volume down a bit and dropping the intensity off that top level to just one below that top level. Anyway, I'm absolutely starving now, so I'm gonna get this cool down done and then get inside and get something for dinner. So what I usually do is right after I get in, I jump in the kitchen, I prep and start to cook all the food. If there's something to like put in the oven or something to simmer in the pan or something like that, I get that going and then I jump in the shower whilst it's simmering or whilst it's cooking. You might notice a bit of a theme, like I'm kind of obsessed with optimizing things and doing two things at once to try and make certain tasks take as little time as possible. If I can shower whilst something's cooking, I don't have to waste as much time from my evening doing either of those things because they're happening simultaneously. I obsess over little things like that. I don't know why. It just is the way I am. I hate wasting time. Right, we can turn the heat down on there now. Let's turn the heat down on the rice as well. Just need to simmer this now, let it thicken up, and then we just need to add the spinach and the halloumi back in. So I'm going to leave it to thicken up. Once they get freshened up, have a shower in that. Dinner was really nice, enjoyed that. So I've just finished tidying up the kitchen, getting ready for bed basically, but the last thing I do before I go to bed every night is take my supplements. Now supplements could be a whole video completely on its own, but I'll give you guys the quick 1 minute or 2 minute rundown. I'm not a scientist at the end of the day, and this is just what I take and the reasons why I take each one. Start out easy, vitamin D. The sun never shines in the UK. If you don't supplement with vitamin D and you never see the sun, you're probably gonna get some kind of depression or. Vitamin C and zinc, both these two things together, great for the immune system. It's quite a simple formula really. The more time you spend ill, the worse that's going to be for your training. Every time you've got to take a training session off because you're ill, that's going to have a detrimental effect over the course of a training block. So if you can spend less time ill, then you spend more time training, and that's massively beneficial. So vitamin C and zinc. Cod liver oil, great for skin, hair, all that kind of business. Brain, supposed to be good for mental clarity and stuff like that. Ashwagandha, this is supposed to be good for sleep. There's also some studies suggesting that it's a natural testosterone booster, which in any male athletes that's beneficial because more testosterone equals more muscle production, but I don't know how true that really is, but I take it anyway. Creatine, I feel like everybody on the planet takes creatine. If you don't, then you probably should. Increases muscle performance, increases muscle water retention, so your muscles appear bigger than they actually are basically. No real downsides to it either, so it's just an easy one, of course. Everyone takes that. And then the last one is probably the least common one, but beta-alanine. I read some studies on this which basically suggested that it's quite good for endurance athletes. Most people take this as a pre-workout. It makes your muscles like tingle, and it's supposed to be good pre-workout. Obviously I'm taking it right before bed, and yes, I do get the muscle tingles whilst I'm in bed. But if you take it consistently, like I take it daily, it's supposed to also have endurance benefits. Allows athletes to basically perform at a higher intensity for longer periods of time. So again, I couldn't be certain that
it absolutely definitely works, but that's what the studies say, and I think it's worth my time and just taking it daily. I use unflavoured beta-alanine and I use unflavoured creatine because what I do is I mix it with milk. I've been trying this new milk recently, Super Nutrio. It's supposed to have twice the amount of protein in that normal milk has. Normally I'd go for whole milk, but Tesco substituted it because they must have run out of the whole milk one, so I've got skim today, which I don't normally go for skim milk at all. It tastes a bit watery to me. I much prefer whole milk, but I've got a skimmed one today, so that should be fine. So I just kind of pour it in, swirl it as I'm going, and then down the hatch with the supplements. 'Cause I can hear